Hey guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be doing the myths and truths of OCD. Just like our last video we did the myths and truths of anorexia. I will be doing the myths and Charlotte will be correcting me with the truths this time. So let's go for the first one. So everyone is a bit OCD.
So I think this is kind of a term that gets thrown around quite easily because not a lot of people understand actually the truth of OCD, actually how much it affects someone's life if they do truly have and have been diagnosed with OCD. So for example, I've never had OCD, but sometimes someone might say to me, oh Charlotte, you're a bit OCD about tidying your room or something. That's not having obsessive compulsive disorder, it's just about being a bit of a neat freak, I suppose. Whereas if someone who actually truly has OCD, it's the obsessional part that kind of plays the role. So it's the part that basically if they don't tidy their room properly, if they don't put that sock in that drawer properly, or if they don't put all their clothes in colour coordination, something bad's going to happen and they physically cannot leave the house without doing so. And they might actually repeat the action 5, 6, 7, 25 plus times. So it's kind of the obsessional part that means you actually do have OCD, whereas everyone is a bit OCD is kind of a term that gets thrown around.
So like if you liked your room to be clean and then you left and it was messy, you wouldn't think anything bad was going to happen. You would be able to leave and be okay, but you would prefer it to be a bit more tidy if you have the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Second one, OCD is just about cleaning and hand washing.
So we see all these programs on TV like obsessive compulsive cleaners and things like that, and you know when you might see your friend keep washing their hands and you say, oh, that's a bit OCD. I think because the term has been thrown around about people being clean, and you know up till now that's kind of what most of the programs on TV have been about. So that's kind of what people have been educated to think. But the obsessional thoughts that someone with OCD is suffering from could be anything from you know, a lot of people do suffer from fear of germs and things, but it's also symmetry, it's fear of violence, like them hurting someone else, it's fear of
talk about my one if you like.
It's fear of colour coordination, numbers and things like that, and also the rituals that go with them can correspond. So having to do things a certain amount of times, having to organise things a certain way, also seeking a lot of reassurance. People don't always realise that is part of OCD, is seeking reassurance from people. So they might keep asking you the same question over and over, just so they can reassure themselves that everything's going to be okay.
Just carrying on from that, like just to give you another example of how severe it could be in another form, I had a bit of everything in my life. I had OCD and I had it with food and I had it with colours, and I couldn't have like red for breakfast, red for lunch, red for dinner. So I couldn't have like a red tomato for breakfast, red pepper for lunch, and what else?
Red pasta sauce.
Red pasta sauce, tomato sauce. Couldn't have colours or tomatoes lunch, tomatoes dinner. So it was all very like colour coordinated, all very kind of, couldn't have mushrooms for lunch, mushrooms for dinner. It was very like, I called it like a puzzle, and I had to get every single piece in place and I didn't want anyone to mess it up. So yeah, that was, and a bit of like contamination with food and things like that. But that's another story I'm sure will enlighten you on another day. Second one, sufferers of OCD. Third one, sorry. Sufferers of OCD do not understand their behaviour is irrational.
So I say most because probably maybe, you know, some don't, we can't speak for everyone, but most sufferers do actually know the relationship between their obsessions and, you know, the physical compulsions are irrational. It's just they can't not do it because they've got the voice in their head telling them that if they don't, then something bad's going to happen. And you know, they can't tell the difference because it's so strong. They can't tell the difference between whether doing it or not doing it is going to cause harm. So generally a lot of the time they do know, it's just they don't know if their brain is lying to them about what's going to happen if they don't.
So I have one more thing. Completely right what Charlotte just said. I knew everything of mine was totally crazy. I knew nothing was going to happen if I had certain colours more than once in a day. But it was just this, like you said, voice in my head. I'm like, you're lying to me, but it was so strong. I just had to follow it. It was easier to keep that puzzle together than it was to mess it up. I don't know if that makes sense, but for someone that has OCD, it might make a bit more sense. Or not. You understand it all very well, don't you? Stress causes OCD.
So while stress can exacerbate OCD, OCD is a mental illness that exists whether you're stressed or not. Possibly the obsessions and things can get stronger and worse if you're stressed, or they could happen more frequently, but it's there whether you're having the best day or the worst day. So
last one, OCD is rare in children.
So a lot of the time, actually, and you had this as well, OCD can show signs as a child, and it can show, and I think there's been studies in children as young as like 3. So a lot of the time someone can suffer OCD, not necessarily as part of like a life trauma or anything, it just can show signs from a young age. So I think a lot of the time when children are younger, it's kind of to do with numbers and things like that, because they're starting to learn those sort of things, and also worrying about harming their parents or their family. So yeah, it's quite common to show signs in children. So
yeah, I mean, I had to shut every toilet lid that I saw. So I had to. Do you remember when I used to make you shut the toilet lid?
Mm-hmm. I used to not do it on purpose because I thought it was funny. But obviously when I was younger I didn't understand.
Yeah. No, I remember you used to be like, Charlotte, shut the toilet lid, please. And when I used to go into like public toilets, I had to shut all the toilet lids. You were quite straightforward child, weren't you? You were very...
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. I was the crazy one.
Anyway, so that's all our myths and truths for this video. If you've got any more that you'd like to add, just comment them below, and we'd love to know your thoughts on this video.
Thanks, guys.
Bye!